sometimes it's more beneficial to you to unlearn everything that you have learned and go back to why you actually started landscape photography and why you love it so much. I've been pacing around my house, actually stalling of recording this because the creative blocks and everything of landscape photography and photography in general and just like creative art forms and expressions is really difficult to go through. And I know a lot of people who talk to me all the time have gone through these, and I don't know, it's just really tough. The main challenge of being a landscape photographer, and I know a lot of people are gonna say like, oh, you do this for a living, this is your job, I'd love to do that, that's fantastic. I'm not like, I love my job. I love what I do. I love going out and taking photos. I love having the luxury of making my own schedule and planning my own trips and just being able to go out any day I want to, anytime I want to, and take photos. But you still have to recognize that whether you are a hobbyist or you are a pro, no matter how much success you gain or followers you gain, that feeling of creativity and taking a photo and creating a photograph never goes away. And that comes with the difficulties and the challenges of creative blocks and not being able to like work through them. And what becomes really hard when you are a landscape photographer, especially one who makes money from the craft, is that when you have a deadline, no matter if you feel that block and you're just like, I am so uninspired to do anything right now, or I'm up against a deadline, I really don't want to go out and shoot today. I miss the luxury a lot of times of not wanting to go out to take photos and not having to. And that is becoming a really difficult realization of being a landscape photographer and doing this full time. And honestly, something that I never really expected going into it. But that's part of the whole creativity part of landscape photography, because when you really start out, you have all these photographers that you look up to. We have the luxury now of having social media and direct access to a lot of our favorite photographers. I have direct messaging conversations with some of my favorite photographers, some photographers that I look up to. And that's an amazing, amazing thing. And what happens is you start to learn everything about how they do things. You start to learn their post-processing workflow. And I'm a part of this too. You watch my videos on post-processing, in-field technique, all those different ideas that you can use in the field next time you go out and shoot. This whole channel is built around things like that. But there comes a point into where that's limiting for you. It's debilitating even, of you learn so much and you accrue so much knowledge in photography of how to do things, in that when you do get into a situation, sometimes it's more beneficial to you to unlearn everything that you have learned and go back to why you actually started landscape photography and why you love it so much. Yes, the desire to get better and to take better photos is there. The knowledge is there. But at some point, you have to get back to the fact that when you get in your own head and you start to limit something, a scene that you're in, a landscape you're in, to mimic somebody else's style, I feel like that's not your own voice. And I think it's good to do to an extent, to, add that spice into your own repertoire of tricks and techniques that you like to use in the field. But at the same time, you have to put your own spin on it. And I think that when I was starting out and I had my first podcast, my wife said, you have a totally different speaking voice when you do a podcast than when you talk to me sitting on the couch. And that really stuck with me. And she still says that it's there a little bit, and I'm getting to the point where I just speak like I am now to you guys who are watching. It's just, I have to be careful when I go out to shoot to push whatever I'm saying as rule or law onto your own photography, because I don't think that's fair to you, because it limits you, it hand ties you, it pigeonholes you, whatever verbiage or metaphor you want to use to describe what's going on here. What's happening is I don't feel like I'm doing you a favor when I do that stuff. So encouragement is something that I like to build on this channel. Really preaching the fact of getting back to why you got into landscape photography, because I started to notice it a lot, even with these videos. I wanted to be Peter McKinnon. I wanted to be his friend Maddie, who makes videos. I wanted to be Nick Page. I wanted to be Thomas Heaton, Gavin Hardcastle. People like that are videos that I watch too, people I follow too. But it came to a turning point when I was in a location and I started to discover that I was only trying to copy exactly what they had showed me in a video. And it's good to try techniques out. It's good to learn them for trial and error, just to see if you can do it. But getting to the point of just doing those things is not paying homage to why you got into photography in the first place. It's not paying homage to the person that you are and what you want to show through your camera lens. And even that, if that is, shooting other things other than landscapes, that's awesome. If you want to do portraits, do that. If you want to do sport photography, do that. If you want to photograph cars, do that. All this, do one thing and be the best as you can at it, is total garbage, because if you just limit yourself to those things, you're going to face burnout. You have no other expression to get to. I like to tell people, and I firmly believe, do this a lot of the time if that's your favorite thing to do. But if you have interest in this, really try to focus on this too. Maybe 80-20 and try to get into that range. Or if you like them both equally, 50-50, juggle it how you feel you need to be juggled. And lastly, I do want to close up with this, because this is something that I'm finding other people are really hard on themselves at, is judging yourself. And what happens when you judge yourself is you diminish your voice as a photographer. And then when that starts to happen, it becomes cancerous to your view on photography. In turn, you start to pass judgment on other people's photos. That gets into the whole social media thing of, what is creativity in social media? Who's really creating content that's original? And it just gets into, don't judge yourself. Trial and error is a huge part of photography. There are plenty of times that I still go out to take photos and come back and nitpick my own photos to death and just judge them. My knee-jerk reaction is to completely shut down my photography business because, I got one frame of a focus stack blend out of focus and the whole photo's toast. So my knee-jerk reaction is like, what voice do I have to share tips on photography or journeys in photography when I can't even get one freaking photo in complete focus? So really start to be kind with yourself, be gentle with yourself through the process. and enjoy the process too. You know, a lot of you guys who message me and reach out to me, I envy the fact, honestly, I truly do. I envy the fact that you're in the growing process, that you have anonymity, that you have this space to create against self-judgment and against judgment of others. So really take that advice and run with it. You know, use your anonymity to create great photos, try different things, fail even, you know, love the process of failing and trying things that get you out of your comfort zone. So I had no script for this. Was it eloquent? Probably not. Was it helpful? I hope so. It was helpful for me to talk about. And honestly, it's going to be helpful for me because I want you guys to hold me accountable to that as well. You know, being gentle with myself, creating unique photographs, trying new things. Am I still going to do a lot of the videos that, you know, show you how to do different techniques? Absolutely. But I'm also going to do it with a grain of salt of not judging yourself. If this isn't your flair after you try it, then don't add it to your photography. But, you know, don't take what I say or other people say as law, as rules. Use it as a way to see something in yourself that maybe you might want to try and might help you to display your photographic expression and your creativity. Because that's it, man. If you don't do that, you're going to face burnout really fast.